update. It is 12:10 on the first day. We just got done hiking our second spot. We've seen some good ones, really good ones on public land. On private land, and haven't been able to obviously go on private land. Seen some on public land. We just kind of put a stalk on one and got up within about 400 yards of it, and scaled a mountain in about 20 seconds and chasing a doe. It was unbelievable. Just not the buck that I was hoping for on day one. So we're gonna go back and get some water. I forgot to put the water in the truck today, so we've hiked. Let's see. We've only hiked 5.2 miles today. No water, so we're about to run back to town and get some water and get back after it this afternoon. All right, keep y'all updated. Get him, boy. All right, we just got back in from the first day hunting. We hiked 7.8 miles. So we hiked a few more after the 5.2 this morning. Saw some good bucks this afternoon on private land. We did see one right after I got done doing the first video that was pushing 150. But he was crossing the border going on to private land. So we're gonna go after him. The plan is to get out there early in the morning, kind of go. He was headed back towards public land, so we're gonna go cut off, try to see if he was bedded going to bed, and hopefully we'll get it done. We saw a big one coming in this evening on private land, literally like 15 yards off the side of the road. It was just killing me, you know. Can't hunt private land out here unless you have permission. So plan is tomorrow to go out and try to find a big one on public land.
Dog, good thing.
Sheepdog.
Yeah.
Where's the owner? It's random. Hey, buddy. I'm not harming your goats. What's up, buddy? Day 2. It's been a slow morning. We saw one doe this morning. Still seeing some good bucks on private land. We just found about 20 deer on public land. We just glassed them. About how far is the walk going to be?
Probably 3/4 of a mile.
Be about a 3/4 mile hike in. Looks like to be two good shooter bucks in there with them. So hopefully we can get within shooting range of them and try to get one on the ground. Keep y'all posted. Well, so we stalked up on the deer. Another buck jumped. I tried to freehand like a 300-yard shot, whiffed 3 times. The other buck with the group took off running and ended up going way down there. How far did you say the shot was?
350.
350-yard running shot, stabilized on that rock all the way down there, and we got it done.
Oh, he's got eye guards. Look at that. Look at that.
Yes, sir. Oh,
Man.
350 on the run. We got it done, baby. First mule deer. Couldn't be more happy.
That's awesome, man.
We had spotted some. They were about a mile away. We had to go way down to get on public land and come back to them. Because you couldn't cross private land to get to them. So we got all the way to them. A different buck jumped running with those, and I tried to freehand shoot him because he surprised us. I will tell you, I shot 3 times, 3 whiffs. Pretty ugly, not gonna lie. And then this one was the one we actually looked for. We turned around, and he was with about, what, 20 does?
Yeah,
About 20 does. Came running down, circled back up, and Ethan put the camera down. I said, get over here, get over here. I had to sprint over to the other side of the canyon. I said, how far is he? He said, 350. And he didn't even have time to put his fingers in his ears. I pulled the trigger. He was a brisk walk, kind of a trot, dropped him at 350. We think he got 1 lung, good shot, you know. So
my ears are still ringing.
yeah, we got the Cannon, the 300 Ultra Mag, but we got it done here in Montana. We're about to get this sucker caped out and go do Thanksgiving back home, or back at Ethan's house in Montana. Yeah. And then me and my wife, Jenna, and the dogs will be headed back to Georgia. 30-hour drive, starting on probably Thursday. Should get home Saturday or Sunday. So thank y'all for watching this, and see y'all this fishing season. So recapping the trip to Montana, growing up in Georgia, I've always been a whitetail hunter. My dad started me hunting everything at a young age that you can in the South. Deer, ducks, quail, dove, turkey, you name it. If you can hunt it in Georgia, I've hunted it. But I've never been able to obviously kill a mule deer in Georgia. So that's always been, there's 4 things that in hunting that I want to do before I die. And it was to kill a mule deer, to kill an elk, to kill a big Midwestern whitetail, and to kill a red stag. First one that I wanted to cross off the list was going to Montana with my cousin, Ethan. So he moved out there this past year with the Air Force, and just kind of immediately was like, man, this is unbelievable country out here. Tons of public land. You got to come out here. You got to come out here. So last year, you know, it was his first year out there, and I was kind of like, well, you know, didn't really have much time to go, and at that time I was still running a farm around here. So I was hunting every day on this farm, and I was totally keyed in on a few whitetail we had on the property, and ended up I killed one of the biggest deer of my life last year, a deer we called Bullwinkle. He ended up scoring, I believe, 148 and 7/8. So he was a good deer, especially for Georgia. And so this year, you know, I started working for my dad back in January, and so I've had a lot less opportunities to hunt this year. Obviously, not being on the farm every day, it's kind of hindered my hunting ability, just to say the least. And so I've still hunted quite a bit, but in the past seasons, it's 7 days of a week, I probably would hunt 4 or 5, and now I'm probably only able to hunt 3 to 4 during the rut. I really key in on during the rut, trying to get as many hours in the stand as I can. This year I just really didn't have a good whitetail season, and so I had drawn my tag back in August or September is when I found out that I had drawn my mule deer tag for Montana. So I was super excited to just be able to go out there and experience it. And Ethan was lucky enough this year. He got a really good deer early season, or I guess kind of their mid-season. And so as soon as he sent me pictures of that and was like, "We're going to get you one when you come out here," I was just ecstatic. That was all I could think about. All I was looking on maps and stuff was public land and looking at contour lines and where the deer might be, knowing nothing about Midwestern mule deer hunting. And then Tuesday morning comes around. We get up, we're fired up, ready to go look for these mule deer that we had seen the morning before. And I'd already told Ethan, with being the last morning of the hunt, I'm going to be a little bit less picky on my mule deer, and I would probably shoot the one that we had seen the day before, even if we couldn't get on the bigger one. And that one was a 3x3. The big one was a 4x4. Yes, 4x4. So we get back out to where we saw him, get to hiking, go over the mountain, start glassing this canyon, and just look for, I don't know, till lunch, and we never see the big buck that we were after or the other buck from the morning before that was with the doe. We did see the doe a doe in the same exact spot, but we couldn't ever find a buck. It was eerie calm that morning up on top of these mountains. I mean, you couldn't hear a bird chirping. You couldn't hear anything. So really bummed out leaving the morning hunt. We were going to go back to town and go down another side of public land that we hadn't been to yet, hadn't really explored. And on the way back, we were looking across this pasture at some private land. And Ethan goes, "Look at all those deer over there on the other side of that fence." And he pulls up his Onyx app and it's like, "Those deer on public land." So I stop the truck, shut it off. We start glassing from the truck, probably a mile away from these deer. And all we can see is a rack. We see a rack that doesn't have splits, but he's got a really good frame, super tall G2s. And that's really all we can tell. And Ethan's like, "There's another buck behind it. It looks like it's got splits. The frame doesn't look quite as big." So don't really know much about it. I know that we got like 3 hours left to hunt, and this is going to be our last go, whether we make it happen or not. So we get up to this mountaintop. I start easing up to where I can see the does, and about the time I keep easing out, I hear my cousin holler at me. I turn around and look, and then he's like pointing, and I turn around, and this doe's just like right there, probably about 200 yards in the wide open, looking dead at me. And I'm like, "Oh crap!" And then 2 more does stand up, and they were just all bedded down right there. We thought the other deer that were bedded down were further down close to the herd. It turns out they were like 200 or 300 yards right there, and we were just in the wide open. We were exposed. And then when they kind of started trotting off, the buck with the split started trotting off. So I'm thinking that the deer that was down there has gone, not going to have opportunity to him. This other buck is going to be my only chance. So I throw up on this other buck, 200 to 300 yards, trying to freehand it with a Magnum rifle. Heavy rifle is just very hard to do, and miss this buck. Well, when I shot the other deer that were down there that we had originally seen, and I was looking at when I shot at these other deer, they took off running around the front of the mountain. So I'm like, well, maybe by chance that buck I just couldn't see and is still with them. So I go running back up the mountainside to try to get to the other side to be able to see him, to try to get a shot if this buck's with him. So I put my bipods down, and I can get on a rock at this point because I'm on the rock mountainside, and I lay down, and my cousin comes running over behind me, and these 20 does come running out, and they were just running across this same canyon that we had jumped these other few does out of right before we got there. And I'm like, where's the buck? He's not with them. And then lo and behold, the last deer in the group was the buck. He was bringing up the rear, and I knew I probably wasn't going to get a standing still shot at him. So he kind of went from a full run to a slower trot, and my cousin Red, I asked him what the range of it was. He said 350, and I pulled the trigger, and next thing you know, he was like, well, you killed him. He's down right there. He didn't want any. As soon as that 300 Ultra Mag hit him, he went down, and the rest is history. And so it was just an unbelievable trip. Like I said, this is just one of those trips that I will never forget. Being able to spend time with my cousin, killing my first mule deer with him. He's like a brother to me. We're 12 days apart, so growing up, we were literally always together, always doing everything together. And he's been a brother to me ever since. So it was a lot of fun to get out there and spend time with him and check off a bucket list buck. Already starting to plan my next year's trip. I'm super excited to get back out there. Hopefully I can draw another tag next year. And next year we're going to spend more time scouting. We're going to be out there. We're going to plan at least 7 days to go out there and hunt. And so we can try to get on a little bit bigger one. Super happy with the one that I've killed. Being my first mule deer. I mean, I know he doesn't have splits, and that's what I said earlier, that I really wanted one with splits, but just the fact that we got it done in such a short amount of time and on a mule deer, just checking that off the old bucket list was awesome. So I really appreciate y'all watching this video, and hopefully we'll have some more videos coming up for y'all soon, killing some ducks, and then we'll have some fishing videos coming up for y'all when the tour season starts, the end of January, and we'll keep y'all updated. Hopefully looking forward to a good 2020 fishing season on the new ML FLW. So we'll see how it goes. Thank y'all for watching.